right? So, this is what's so beautiful about decentralized technology is that there's no government that would have allowed Bitcoin to exist unless it can exist in a structure that can't be turned off. And that was its magic. Bitcoin arises and cannot be turned off. It is immutable and decentralized. So much of the innovation in the industry right now is about bringing that principle of immutability and decentralization to other areas of finance. That's what all of DeFi is trying to do. That's what decentralized exchanges are trying to do. And so that principle that Bitcoin started is being applied now in wider areas of finance. And this is super, super fun and exciting.
Yeah. And it feels like this shift has definitely increased the privacy, right? Like, I think that's kind of not debatable. How much has the product had to change from like a feature standpoint? Is it just as rich from a feature standpoint? Do you have more features, less features? Like, what was the impact there?
Yeah, I mean, to a user that used Shapeshift in February, to a user that uses it now, the only thing they'll notice is that they don't have to KYC. So they lost nothing. They gained their privacy back, and there's less friction to onboard them. So, for them, it only got better.
What's been the response? Are there regulators or others that have reached out, or have you gotten any feedback in terms of making this transition from kind of government organizations?
We told the regulators ahead of time. We obviously are in talks with them and have been for years. So we just went right up and told them what we were doing. And my hope is that a lot of the regulators understand that this decentralized technology actually achieves a lot of their aims. Like, if a regulator wants transparency, honest money, lack of fraud, open systems that are accountable and that do not hide risk, they should be very encouraged by a lot of these decentralized applications. What they will have to accept is that they are not going to be able to control money in the degree that they did before. And they are not going to be able to have this blanket surveillance network over people's private financial decisions like they've had in the past. I'm sure some of them are going to be okay with that trade-off, and others will fight it tooth and nail. So it's incumbent on everyone in the industry, I think, to realize that struggle is coming. And the more this stuff grows and the more the regulators lose the ability to control people's personal private decisions, it's going to be something that we have to be very careful about, that narrative, and we have to be constantly conveying the benefits of an open, immutable, and honest financial system.
What's the way you guys make money now? Right. So historically, exchanges have made money by having trading fees. My understanding is that through this interface, you're not actually adding any fees to what just the decentralized kind of liquidity pools require. So how do you guys make money?
Yeah. So right now, we have always been very long crypto. We hold a balance sheet of crypto, and we've made plenty of money on just the crypto market rising itself. We do not make money on trading fees. We think that's a commoditized service that'll tend towards zero with time. So someone who's going through Shapeshift is getting the exact same rate as if they went directly to Uniswap or directly to Thorchain. In the future, we have different avenues to make some revenue based on staking and lending markets done through a non-custodial way. But yeah, right now it's a free service, and people can use it directly like that.
What's up, guys? Bang, bang. I hope you're enjoying this conversation. But before we go any further, I want to quickly tell you about today's sponsor, BlockFi. BlockFi's got 4 different financial products for crypto investors. You can deposit crypto and earn up to 8.6% APY in an interest-bearing account. You can deposit crypto and take out a US dollar loan against your crypto collateral. You can use their cryptocurrency exchange and have no trading fees, or you can get a new Bitcoin Rewards credit card. It's a normal credit card that when you swipe, you get Bitcoin back rather than cash back or airline miles. I'm an investor in the business and a very happy user. I think you will be too when you go to blockfi.com/pomp. Again, blockfi.com/pomp. Go check it out and let me know what you think. All right, let's get back into this conversation. I hope you enjoy it. One of the things I want to spend a lot of time talking about is this idea of maximalism. Before we recorded this, I tweeted out and said, hey, I'm having Erik on the podcast. What questions do you have for him? And there's all kinds of crazy stuff. There's some that were really thoughtful, intelligent questions. And then there was things that basically, kind of try to paint you to be an enemy of Bitcoin. I guess maybe let's just start with what are your thoughts about Bitcoin and that ecosystem? And then what are your thoughts about everything that's not Bitcoin? Do you support kind of both, and then how do you think about almost participating in both ecosystems at the same time?
Yeah, good question. It's good to start with first principles like that. So I have been involved in Bitcoin since 2011. It is, like my first life's passion. It has been my career. It has been my hobby. It has been my passion for a decade. And when I found Bitcoin, I saw in it a solution to what I thought was the biggest problem in the world, which is government's control over money. So everything I do since then has been to help bring Bitcoin to the world. Now, Bitcoin is a complicated technology, and society is a complicated thing to bring that technology to. And as Bitcoin has grown, I have seen the value in other systems that are built on blockchains also being in partnership with Bitcoin. So I see it as one ecosystem, right? I see the decentralization that Bitcoin promised best expressed when there are other blockchains, when there are other systems. I do not think a monolithic chain that handles everything for everyone and solves all problems is decentralization. I think that would be a weaker, more brittle structure. Part of the dynamism and part of the strength and resiliency of a decentralized financial world is one built on multiple blockchains that optimize for different things. Bitcoin has taken a very conservative approach to optimizing to be the best form of money ever made by mankind. I think it has done better at that than any other project, easily. Most of my net worth is and always has been in Bitcoin and will continue to be. And yet, I see Ethereum as an extremely valuable ecosystem. I see Zcash and Monero and Haven and privacy coins as extremely important tools for financial privacy. I see this stuff getting built in DeFi and how much destruction that will rain down on the entire banking system. And all I can do is applaud that. And so when people get mad at me because I'm not only Bitcoin, it saddens me. It's like, what are you actually here for? Are you here for Orange Coin, or are you here to actually bring decentralized finance and a new form of money to the entire world? Because the other communities that are building around Bitcoin have that same mission, and they should be seen as allies instead of enemies.
This is really interesting because I think that ever since I met you, right, it's never been at question, right? I think your commitment to Bitcoin and wanting to see it be successful. I think throughout history of Bitcoin, there's been all sorts of debates and opportunities and various points in time where people did debate, what's the best way to bring it forward. But I always try to remind people that, everyone is trying to accomplish the same goal. The path to get there is where the debates occur, but I don't think that anyone who has spent as much time as you have or others in Bitcoin want to see it fail, right? Or for some reason don't believe in it, etc. Right? It's kind of ridiculous.
It's such an absurd notion. And it worries me because Bitcoin does have some very serious enemies. And we have only started to awaken those enemies. And so if the Bitcoin community and if the larger crypto community itself is infighting all the time and just tearing each other down, they are going to be missing the actual enemy, which is the state, which is the banking system. That is what this stuff is in opposition to. Bitcoin is not in opposition to Ethereum. It is no coincidence that the two systems have grown up together and are hitting all-time highs together. They are collaborative, they are community together. And that stands in stark contrast to fiat currency, to the banking system, and to states which try to control money from the center. So I want people to orient their vision outside of those proper enemies because there are many of them.
Yeah. And when you think about the technology, it seems like there's a thought process of almost on a kind of horizontal standpoint, all of the technology that is going after true decentralization and is trying to bring some sort of value or functionality to this decentralized digital ecosystem via decentralized open protocols, you're a fan of, right? You're saying, hey, this is all good. It's all moving us in the right direction. But then there's this like social layer, right? And the social layer is everything that doesn't involve the technology, and this is where you get the maximalism, the tribalism, the marketing messages, the infighting, all that kind of stuff. And so is that stuff healthy? Is it agnostic? Like, does it actually not matter at all? It's just whatever the technology that works ends up being the most important thing, and everything else just a distraction. Like, how do you think about the social layer maybe different than the technology layer?
Yeah, and the social layer is really like the most important one, which most people don't recognize. This is technology meant to be used by humans and lives to serve humans. I think it's important, and what a lot of the maximalists do correctly, is to have a very high degree of skepticism toward any project, right? Whether it's a Bitcoin company or whether it's some new chain or coin, there's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of garbage. There are a lot of scams. Absolutely. So I would never want people to just like blanketly accept anything in the ecosystem because it's crypto. Most of the stuff is garbage. And yet there is a core of projects which are legitimate, run by very smart people that share these ideologies and which are building world-changing technology. And so to just be open-minded to the things which have quality, I think is important. And if everything is called a scam, you get a phenomenon just like how the government says, like, you should never do drugs, right? Just say no.